Hey man, actually it was.
You're wrong.
He's got ice water in his veins.
Ice water.
He's got ice water.
We play these damn bombs. We'll go undefeated. We'll make the playoffs.
So I do want to hear what you guys have to say about the Chicago Bulls and the after they lose by 56 to the Boston Celtics, and after playing back to back, Jim Boylan wants to have a practice on Sunday.
Back to back, but
Well,
when you physically
back to back games, and then he was going to have a practice on Sunday, and there was talk of a boycott by the players of that practice, and then it kind of came down to they did show up, but then they just had to kind of clear the air meetings with players only, and then players and staff and that kind of.
Well, I'll take this one because I'm offended.
You're all going to take.
I'm offended as a basketball. I'll tell you, I'll go first.
Yeah.
I mean, when you lose a game by 50 points, you're not getting no day off. In high school, college, AAU, WNBA, like, you don't deserve a day off. And let's look at that team. There's nobody on that team who's a made man. And for them guys to think that they can boycott the NBA practice after they lose by 60 points, they need to have a serious meeting. And the coaches and the Paxson brothers, you say, hey, you guys ain't that good. They don't have one guy on the team. Now, I love Laurie Markkinen. I think he got a bright future. But there's nobody, him included, on that team who I would say is a made man. And come on, it's ridiculous.
No, and that, to that point, one of the things that Zach LaVine said when, they formed this leadership committee now, which is going to be made up of some players who, if they have a problem, they take it to the coach rather than all this stuff happening. But he said, what we don't have is a guy like Kevin Garnett on this team.
What did he mean by that?
Well, when I was in Minnesota,
meaning a vet, a guy who's been around, who is a voice that everybody listens to.
When I was in Minnesota the last year, the reason I went there thinking that I was going to be in management after basketball is that I wanted to understand the players that, obviously, that of the future. And one of the things I took away from is these players are coming from entitled situations. And our times when we play, and it's yesteryear, okay? Times when we play, we work, we practice. If you go to these teams now, a lot of these teams don't practice no more, Chuck. A lot of these kids have never practiced after a back-to-back. So they don't know what that's like. A lot of these kids have never did 4 and 5. So, the league is changing, and this is what it's changing into so much to where my last year in Minnesota, when guys felt a certain way about player association meetings or stuff that we had to do, and they were fatigued and we were tired, we would all get together, talk about it, and then I would take it to Sam, take it to management, and then we would get a resolution from it or something. At the end of the day, I felt like I had the confidence to go in here and speak to Sam. Not only that, but I had the relationship to come here and speak to a coach. These players don't talk to each other. The communication right here, everything's done through a phone. Everything's done through a text.
Which is how that whole boycott thing began too. Was a bunch of texts among players. And
the notion that you lose a game by 60 points
and
think like,
how dare you want me to practice?
How you want me to practice? I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think overall, the work ethic to get where you are, and Kevin hit it with entitlement, Charles hit it with you lose by 56, your first thought would be to get in the gym. I know players in our era, or not even our era, let me take that back, because then we sound like some old guys who just getting on. But LeBron James, if he lost by 50 points, he would get off the plane and start going to the gym to shoot. I've heard stories like that about Kobe Bryant being active. I've seen Damian Lillard in the playoffs go back onto the floor after a loss and shoot. I've seen Russell Westbrook. I've seen the great players do that.
All of them.
And I'm going to say this, it's just pretty funny because we say, you got to come to work. And I'm going to put him out here just because it was a great comment. Hubert Davis from North Carolina, we were joking around and talking, he's assistant coach there. And he says, yeah, we got to go to work. And we talked, he started laughing. He says, no one on our team ever had a job. So they don't know what work actually is. So I got to explain it to them. And you get, North Carolina winning national championships, but across the board, across the country, in college and in NBA, if you ask an NBA team how many guys have actually had a physical job other than playing basketball, they didn't. So they don't know the responsibility of what they do affects everyone else. Because when you have a real job, you understand how it affects. When you even a paper route, you affects if that paper ain't delivered, you understand how it affects the guy who's making the paper and the person who's supposed to be getting it. But when you're playing in the NBA and you've been in this entitlement of AAU and travel ball and high school and college, you don't understand how everything affects everyone else. So when you lose by 56 points, you feel entitled not to be there.
And what pisses me off about it the most, I think the one thing about sports, I felt bad, I want to say like twice. When I was a great player and I got coaches fired. And I felt a certain type of way because I liked my coaches and I let them down. Like that dude had to go home to his wife and kids and say, I got fired. And the Bulls, they just got somebody fired. And if you don't feel like, guys, maybe we should pick it up a little bit. They just got a man fired. And I've never been in that situation where I got fired. But I felt bad when I got 2 coaches fired. Because I'm like, that man got to go home to his wife and kids. And they got no job and they probably got to start life over again in another city. And for them guys not to have no sense of pride, to get a guy fired and then come back and they lost by 25 points the next game. Come on, man, that's ridiculous.
First off, I didn't understand if I can't speak for y'all, but after a loss, you know how hot you are after a loss, man? After a loss, and then you get beat by 56. There was no fouling out, no hard fouls, no, like, as an NBA player, you have a certain pride about yourself that you come into the game and you walk around with. Straight up.
I know this is probably not politically correct, but I did have a coach, he was Wilmot Benjamin. He was one of my first coaches, and God bless his soul. But one day I came in, I was like, hey, we lost by 20, and he said, well, when did you get thrown out for fighting? Because he's like, straight up, you're not going to let that happen. You didn't do that, and it was a joke. But that mentality of the pride and self-entitlement is gone.
Yeah, Jim Boylan now 1-4 since taking over for Fred Hoiberg.
Wait, he won the game with them Mobs?
To be coach of OKC.
He coach of the year.
They're gonna be better. Stay in there, Chicago.